Hello, everyone. Just going to let everyone start coming in before we get started. I want to thank everyone for being here. We are going to be talking today about nutrition for life. And I see we've got people rolling in now. This is great. All right, give me a couple minutes. All right, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Travis Horn. I want you to welcome to Nutrition for Life, and I work for Borislow Insurance as the Director of Health and Wellbeing. Since we are in the National Nutrition Month of March, looking forward to April for those who live in the North Country like us. We're going to talk about nutrition and go through something that's a little bit different than just the regular day-to-day nutrition 101. We're going to talk more about how to take nutrition into your life from a full spectrum perspective, because everyone's in a different spot with nutrition. That's really something that I harp on with a lot of people I work with from a nutritional perspective. Everyone's in their own spot, so do your own thing. Just know how to do it your own way. And so some housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, put some in the chat, put them in the Q&A. Crystal or Brittany will be on the side answering questions and kind of bringing them forth. So here, let's move forward. And so just as we put this on every time we do a webinar. This is something we do with all of our different clients and all of our different members, and we appreciate you being a part of the conversation because we do offer webinars, classes, demonstrations, work with folks on strategies and educational classes. So this is something we do quite a bit, once a month, and we keep adding. And so feel free to join us every time we have it. And it's a good opportunity to learn more about the subject at hand. But for this month, we're going to talk about nutrition. To get us started, I thought it'd be great if we could do a poll just to kind of see where everyone's at and get a feel for it. So before we get into the whole conversation, let's do a quick poll for you. And the poll is, what does nutrition for life look like for you? What does nutrition for life look like for you? And so, like I said, everyone's in a different place. And so in order for us to have that bigger conversation and be able to direct traffic, if you will, in the right way from a nutrition perspective, let's see what you think. And I've launched the poll. Go ahead and take a few minutes to answer. Great, as I expected. It's funny, we're just now coming out of COVID, if you will, and everyone's in a different spot with nutrition because nowadays it's really starting to maintain in the world of just want to eat healthy, just want to live healthy. We're seeing a lot in that direction, which was just to be expected. Diet and exercise, it isn't what it used to be. Background wise, I've been in this field for a long time, and the maintain, don't gain. Some people still want to go in that direction, but for the most part, in the world we're living in, everyone wants to eat healthy, live healthy, and it's really that's what nutrition for life is about. It's about trying to figure out the paths we live and being able to eat nutritiously throughout that path. All right, great, thank you. All right, so share results. I'll just show you everyone. That's where it is. You can kind of see where that's at. And for the most part, we have everyone in that corner. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Again, this will be about 25 minutes, real brief, big conversation about eat well, live well. I want to show you a video. This is a nice little video that kind of captures what we're going to hit on today, and then jump into hot topics. Just kind of looking into the trends of 2022. What is nutrition? What is the hot topic today? And then I want to talk more about the navigating of the grocery store as well as the food labels when you're going in that grocery store. And then the three big things that I find a lot of people, when you're trying to be healthy for self and for life, we don't do enough. And so I want to talk through that a little bit. That would be the meal prep, mindful eating, and then eating on the run. And then there are some tools, some resources I'll share so we know where to go and get these things. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to put a real quick video for you.
Did you know that the typical American diet exceeds many of the recommended dietary intake levels? Improving your diet could extend your lifespan, and reduce the occurrence of costly chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, diabetes. If you're ready to make a change in your diet to improve your overall health, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Everyone is different, which means every diet should be different. Your doctor will help you determine the best route to take with your healthy eating plan. One key to making lasting improvements in your diet is to start with small changes like eating breakfast every day, replacing one sugary drink per day with a glass of water, or eating at least one more serving of fruits or vegetables every day. Replacing unhealthy eating habits with healthier ones can be difficult. Stick with it. Focus on how improving your diet will benefit your health in the long term. Remember, maintaining a healthy diet is a huge component in leading a long, healthy life. Are you ready to get started on your healthy eating journey? Contact your doctor today.
Pretty straightforward. Oh. So, you heard it say a lot of times in there, and it's something I really like to point out to a lot of people that are looking to eat nutritiously, that they said diet quite a bit. I'm not a big fan, never have been. I don't think people should diet. I think people should just eat in a way that makes them feel comfortable and happy and healthy. And so the word diet is, there's a stigma around it, and I feel like, for a lot of folks, they're just trying to do the right things for the right reasons, and it starts with nutrition. And so a lot of times, from an individual perspective, you say to yourself, I just want to lose weight, and that's my goal. And so you have this goal of losing weight, and so people think they have to go on this diet. Well, losing weight doesn't have to be a diet. It can be just approaching things a little differently, approaching your your time out on the road, or approaching things, at different restaurants. And so these are things, when I look at the national trends or nutritional trends of what's happening right now, these are a lot of things we're seeing. And I've tried a few, I've done a few. I'm a big proponent of trying these different things to see if it works, if it doesn't work for myself personally. And I'm a big proponent of being healthy anyway. So I always want to know what the next best thing is. So pantry to plate, that's something you may or may not have heard. The other term for it is farm to plate. And so there's a lot of restaurants that over the last year or two have popped up, if not 3 years, have popped up, and they're becoming very popular this year, especially with everything opening back up, that, you can go in and you get local meats, local vegetables, local fruits, and everything's local and fresh. And that's an important piece from a farm to plate, or a pantry to plate. And so the pantry plate is more about your house, right? So if I buy food and I buy it at the grocery store, then using what's in that pantry to make meals versus just buying a lot of extra additive type foods, buying more fresh and things like that, stuff that's local. Intermittent fasting, that was always an amazing one to me. I thought of it, I'm like, ooh, that can't be a good thing. But believe it or not, there's a lot of scientific backing on intermittent fasting, and it can be very healthy for you from an individual perspective, from a weight loss perspective, if that's what you're looking for, or just a metabolism perspective, if you want to increase your metabolism. It also helps things like liver function, because you're using your liver less, as well as it helps the healthy heart over a long period of time. And so what is it? There's several types of intermittent fasting. The biggest, the best known one that most people know is called 16-8. What that is you fast for 16, then you eat for 8. There's also other ones that can be 5-2. A 5-2 fasting is you do twice a week, you do 500, 600 calories. There's different ways to approach it. And if you're, looking to change some things up, again, you always want to talk to your physician. I'll put that out there. I got to have the disclaimer correct. But if you want to talk to your physician, there's different ways to approach your nutritional habits from a life perspective. The other one is immune supporting functional foods. This is something that isn't new, but I think it's coming back. And that is, focusing on specific foods that are really good for the immune system, that help the immune system over time, increase your immune system. So, if there's viruses out there, your immune system is more apt to be secure, if you will, from those viruses, because you're eating the right things the right way for the right reasons. And here's some garlic, ginger, spinach. Focus on those type of foods. Almonds, dark chocolate, sweet potatoes are wonderful products to use. And then the last two, plant forward eating. That's a great one that's come in. And I'm going to show you the pyramid in a few. I know most of you know the pyramid, but things have changed. So I want to have a little conversation about that. The plant forward eating, instead of making meat the focus, it's really about making the plants that you have the focus and putting things around that. And that's, for some, that's a new concept. If you've never tried it, you really should, because it's a great way to change things up and to eat nutritiously more for life down the road. Last thing isn't new, but it is still out there and still strong, and that is the high fat, low carb diet's not for everyone, but there's scientific backing that shows it lowers blood pressure, blood sugar, triglycerides, and helps the the HDLs, which is your good cholesterol. So some different options for you, new trends coming. I've seen them, I've tried them. For me, I like the intermittent fasting, to be honest with you. And the farm to plate, it's just something I focus on. All right, I talked about the pyramid. I want to focus on a little bit of the pyramid. So, from an old school perspective, I don't want to date myself, but this was the way it was back in the day when I looked at nutrition. You go to school, they'd show you the pyramid, and there'd be a lot of bread at the bottom. Now, the one thing that's important to know, carbohydrates aren't a bad thing. They're actually very good if you eat the right carbohydrates. And so what happened was the pyramid, came out and they realized, well, it isn't just carbs that everyone has to focus on. Really, the fruits and veggies are important. So they switched it up. And whoops, we go back one. And they went to this one here, which was great because they put in the physical activity. So you need physical activity. It's very important to have. So they got a man, or someone on the side walking up the stairs. So they put that in. They made it, very important to notice. They also did one great thing. Instead of putting breads down there, they put the word grains. So then it became a word play, and they realized people started to focus more on the healthy whole grains than just your regular white breads, as well as your meats and beans. Now they're focusing on not just meat, but your plant-based products like beans and things like that, and seeds. And so then they went over to the one that's important now to know, and that is, now you're focused on portion control, right? Portion control, exercise, eating whole grains. So they got away from grains. Now they're going to whole grains. People understand the concept of eating whole grains, looking at things like monosaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, which are good fats, versus your or polyunsaturated fats versus your saturated fats, which you'll get in your meats and things like that. So the new pyramid is great. It's something you can really focus on. They put alcohol on the outside, moderation, but it really gives you it gives you a better picture of what you should be eating from a life perspective and nutrition perspective moving forward. And then there's shop the perimeter. This is something that a lot of people know about, but maybe we don't do enough of. And if you ask a question, what is shop the perimeter? Shopping the perimeter, honestly, is if you go in a grocery store and you want to get the right foods, stay outside. You walk in, you get your fruits, veggies, you keep walking, you get your meat, your fish. I know there are some cakes and stuff out there. I understand that. It's okay. Moderation's key. But if you keep going, you'll get to milk, you'll get to your yogurts, your eggs, the things that are needed. As soon as you start with shopping the perimeter, then it's recommended to kind of move in the perimeter. Now, the question would be, when you start to move in the perimeter and I start to go down the aisles, well, how do I know what to get? That's always the biggest question that comes. And if you're gonna eat nutritiously for life, these are the most important pieces when you're going down these aisles, is to understand, what am I looking for in the aisles? And so let's take a quick poll. Let's push it up here. So the poll is maybe a knowledge poll. I'm going to launch it for you. Ingredients are listed in order of cost, quantity, or quality. And so when I go in those aisles and I start to pick up products that I want to eat, man, I really got to know, what am I picking up? And what am I going to eat when I'm in there? All right. I guess there's smarter people on this phone. I like it. All right. So we are pretty much set there. So quantity and poll, I'm just going to put an end to it. Let me share your results. So for the most part, everyone knows, right? When you go in the aisles, you're looking for the labels, and we're looking at quantity. I mean, that's the one thing that as soon as I go in, I'm looking right at quantity. And so let me show you this real quick, because I think it's important to see. I go into an aisle, I'll use this, and this is obviously cereal. I've done the perimeter, I've gone in, and I have a list. For those of you who've ever gone without a list and you're hungry, good luck. For me, I have to have a list because I want to meal prep during the day. I have a busy lifestyle. I've got 4 kids in the world, in my world, and I've got one who specifically plays baseball all the time. And so we're constantly on the road. And so if I don't meal prep, or if I don't know from my list what I'm doing for that week, it could just be, it wouldn't be a good situation going to that grocery store. I know it ahead of time. And so I'm not only shopping for season, and I'm looking for the rainbows to get, for instance, like the fruits and vegetables. But when I go into that middle aisle, I have to look at these ingredients. And kind of the rule of thumb that I've taken over the years in doing this is, if I see an ingredient on there I don't know, and there's plenty of them if you look at any of these, for instance, if I go into the first one here and it says calcium carbonate. Now, I'm sure I know it. I mean, it's some form of calcium, right? But do I really know what that is? Do I want to eat that? Now, the kids are probably going to eat it because that's just their world, and they're not quite in the nutritious side that I live in. But for me, I'm not going to eat it, or I'll just have a little bit of it. But for the most part, I'm going to stay the outside and not worry about getting the different products in the internal, because it's they're going to have the ingredients I'm not really a big fan of. And so for me, it's moderation. So I'm not a big proponent of just healthy all the time. There has to be some limit and some way to make it a little bit more enjoyable in life, because we're eating nutritiously for life. And in order to do that, sometimes you got to go crazy and eat some cereal. But if you're going to buy for the right reasons and you're going to buy the right cereals, stay to the top of the shelves, read your labels, know what's in it. And if the list is too long and it's half that box, chances are it's not healthy for you. So just a good rule of thumb. Other than that, focus on frozen fruits and vegetables. I always have that in the wings, if you will, because I'm running really quick. We're always moving, and so if I need a quick meal, I can easily pull those out. As well as from a frozen fruit perspective, I'm a big into smoothies, and so if you're really looking for something quick and something that's healthy, have frozen fruit available. You can do a quick yogurt fruit, and you can make yourself a nice little smoothie, and they're quick and easy and very nutritious. Then lastly, look for plant-based proteins. And so, there's a shift today with eating meat to not eating meat. Everyone's kind of in a different place with that, and to each his own. But it's important to make sure you look for seeds, nuts. There's tons of plant-based proteins out there that you can eat that are really nutritious and can make sure you get all your nutrients that you need with that. So that's kind of the grocery store. It can be intimidating if you're not really a grocery store person, but if you are, there's definitely a positive when it comes to meal prepping. So meal prepping is important in my world. I mentioned I'm a baseball dad, if you will, and continuously I'm moving from game to game. I also do a 9U team on the weekends, so I do a lot of coaching. And so for me, meal prep is so important, because then I know if I have to be at the field or at practice, then my son or myself can have something that's available. So what I do, and I think it's important for most people to think about, is do you have the right product to put your food in? Is it just this big container of Tupperware, or do you have a split Tupperware, glass Tupperware that maybe you can take with you that kind of keeps everything fresh and new, and it tastes good, so you're actually enjoying your food when you're prepping it. And so meal prep happens for me on Sundays, especially with the week that I kind of go into, where it's a busy week, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're moving all the way through Friday. So I'll meal prep every day. And so I'll usually have stuff available all the way up to Saturday, and then we start again on Sunday. So if you haven't never done meal prepping, I absolutely would recommend it if you're a busy person and you need something to move with. And so here is when I meal prep, I kind of move into that next zone. And this is actually my Yeti. I thought to myself when I was making this presentation, I'm like, how do I showcase eating on the run? Well, there you go. I have a Yeti, and the Yeti is my world, and everyone knows me. Most of the dads and the other coaches, when we go to games, they all want me to go with them because my Yeti is always full and it's always packed. We have water, we have the right snacks. I do homemade granola bars, not all the time, but for the most part, just because of, I like knowing what's in my foods. And so I'll do homemade granola bars. I'll make ready-made sandwiches. There's always snacks that are available for the kids as well as the adults. If I don't know, eating on the run is crazy because you don't always want to have to go to McDonald's or a store to eat at or a restaurant to eat at. And sometimes you do, and that's okay. Recently, I remember taking the kids and, we were kind of on a move for baseball again. And they wanted to go eat someplace, and I wasn't into eating at Subway or whatever it was we were going to. So I stopped at the grocery store. And believe it or not, for those that have never tried it, if you have kids or just yourself in general, going to the grocery store is perfect. You can get whatever you want for bread. You can get a whole grain bread. You can get usually whatever style you want. The meats are always available. There's plenty of stuff throughout the aisles. So it's a good option if you're eating on the run and you need to go, somewhere and have something quick. It's an option for you because there's plenty of grocery stores around, and honestly, there are some good substations. There are good substations. There, just as long as you're looking at the ingredients and asking the right questions to the people that are serving. But for the, it's not easy to do. Eating on the run is not easy to do, but you have to prepare for it, and that's where meal prep comes in. And that's where making sure you have the right tools, which the Yeti's the tool that I use to make sure when I eat on the run, I have everything with me. And then, the last couple, this one's something that's new for me, I'll be honest. I'm prior Marine Corps. So when I was in the Marine Corps, you didn't eat mindfully, you ate quickly. And eating quickly meant whatever was in front of you, you shoveled, and it was quick and you were fast. Well, when I got into the health and wellness world, and I've been into it for several years, I recently came across the fact that, well, if you do, I was actually during intermittent fasting I was trying. I realized that when you started to taste your food and to slow down and just take your time eating your food, it was amazing on how I tasted foods and didn't even realize it. And it was just because I was always moving so fast and just eating on the run. And I know it's not easy because sometimes, we're also busy, and busy is hard. But, if we can take our time, really look at what we're eating, slow down, enjoy what we're eating, you'll find that the food has a different flavor and a taste and a smell to it. It's amazing. Give it a try sometime if you ever get a chance. It's definitely something I would recommend for anyone to do. And then lastly, here's some resources. If I'm going anywhere to look for any type of nutritional stuff, I'm going to these 5. For the most part, Eat Right, they're really big proponents of the Nutrition in March. So you can get plenty of resources out there, plenty of tools. And if you're looking for other tools, for instance, some people are always asking me, well, where can I get a diet app, or I want to Eat Right app. I use things like Noom. There's other things like Fat Secret is another great app that I've used in the past, and it's more of a calorie counter, but it also, you can look up foods to kind of see what's in it, see what type of nutrients are in it. I'm a big fan of looking at macronutrients as well to kind of see where I sit from a carbohydrate to a protein, and that type of thing. So there are plenty of resources out there. It's just a matter of taking a peek. And it looks like, and I just, before we answer any questions, oh, here's another one. Forks Over Knives Meal Planner. Perfect. Thank you very much, Wendy. Forks Over Knives Meal Planner app. Never heard of that one. I will take a look at that one. But there are plenty out there. Just do your research. Healthy IE. That's one. I mean, they've come up everywhere. It used to be there was only a few of them, but there's so many now. And so I want to thank you all very much for your time today. Before we go, are there any other questions? Again, throw them in the Q&A or throw them in the chat. And we'll just give a few minutes. At the end of this, there will be an eval that'll pop up for you. We would appreciate if you were to fill out the evaluation for us. Excuse me. But this has been great. I appreciate you all coming today, and I hope you have a wonderful day and eat nutritious and eat healthy and have a wonderful afternoon. Oh, we did have one more question. Oh, no question. Thank you. Have a good day. Wow.